Hey there, how's it going? It's another beautiful day here today, and we are here to do the Course in Miracles lessons. And the lesson for today is 134, so let's get right on it. Let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Let me repeat that again. Let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Let us review the meaning of forgive, for it is apt to be distorted and to be perceived as something that entails an unfair sacrifice of righteous wrath, a gift unjustified and undeserved, and a complete denial of the truth. In such a view, forgiveness must be seen as mere eccentric folly, and this course appear to rest salvation on a whim. This twisted view of what forgiveness means is easily corrected when you accept the fact that pardon is not asked for what is true. It must be limited to what is false. It is irrelevant to everything except illusions. Truth is God's creation, and to pardon that is meaningless. All truth belongs to Him, reflects His laws, and radiates His love. Does this need pardon? How can you forgive the sinless and eternally benign? The major difficulty that you find in genuine forgiveness on your part is that you still believe you must forgive the truth and not illusions. You conceive of pardon as a vain attempt to look past what is there, to overlook the truth in an unfounded effort to deceive yourself by making an illusion true. This twisted viewpoint but reflects the hold that the idea of sin retains as yet upon your mind and as you regard yourself. Because you think your sins are real, you look on pardon as deception. For it is impossible to think of sin as true and not believe forgiveness is a lie. Thus, is forgiveness really but a sin like all the rest? It says the truth is false and smiles on the corrupt as if they were as blameless as the grass, as white as snow. It is delusional in what it thinks it can accomplish. It would see as right the plainly wrong, the loathsome as the good. Excuse me. Pardon is no escape in such a view. It merely is a further sign that sin is unforgivable, at best to be concealed, denied or called another name, for pardon is a treachery to truth. Guilt cannot be forgiven. If you sin, your guilt is everlasting. Those who are forgiven from the view their sins are real, are pitifully mocked and twice condemned, first by themselves for what they think they did, and once again by those who pardon them. It is sin's unreality that makes forgiveness natural and wholly sane, a deep relief to those who offer it, a quiet blessing where it is received. It does not countenance illusions, but collects them lightly, with a little laugh, and gently lays them at the feet of truth, and there they disappear entirely. Excuse me. Forgiveness is the only thing that stands for truth in the illusions of the world. It sees their nothingness and looks straight through the thousand forms in which they may appear. It looks on lies, but it is not deceived. It does not heed the self-accusing shrieks of sinners mad with guilt. It looks on them with quiet eyes and merely says to them, "My brother, what you think is not the truth." My brother, what you think is not the truth. The strength of pardon is its honesty, which is so uncorrupted that it sees illusions as illusions, not as truth. It is because of this that it becomes the undeceiver in the face of lies, the great restorer of the simple truth. By its ability to overlook what is not there, it opens up the way to truth, which has been locked by dreams of guilt. Now are you free to follow in the way your true forgiveness opens up to you. For if one brother has received this gift of you, the door is open to yourself. Excuse me. This is a very simple way to find the door to true forgiveness and perceive it open wide in welcome. When you feel that you are tempted to accuse someone of sin in any form, do not allow your mind to dwell on what you think he did, for that is self-deception. Ask instead, would I accuse myself of doing this? Thus will you see alternatives for choice in terms that render choosing meaningful and keep your mind as free of guilt and pain as God himself intended it to be, and as it is in truth. It is but lies that would condemn. In truth is innocence the only thing there is. Forgiveness stands between illusions and the truth, between the world you see and that which lies between the hell of guilt and heaven's gate. Across the bridge, as powerful as love, which laid its blessing on it, are all dreams of evil and of hatred and attack brought silently to truth. They are not kept to swell and bluster and to terrify the foolish dreamer who believes in them. He has been gently wakened from his dream by understanding what he thought he saw was never there, and now he cannot feel that all escape has been denied to him. He does not have to fight to save himself. He does not have to kill the dragons which he thought pursued him, nor need he erect the heavy walls of stone and iron doors he thought would make him safe. He can remove the ponderous and useless armor made to chain his mind to fear and misery. His step is light, and he lifts his foot to stride ahead. A star is left behind, to point the way to those who follow him. Forgiveness must be practiced, for the world cannot perceive its meaning, nor provide a guide to teach you its beneficence. There is no thought in all the world that leads to any understanding of the laws it follows, nor the thought that it reflects. It is as alien to the world as is your own reality, and yet it joins your mind with the reality in you. Today we practice true forgiveness, that the time of joining be more delayed, for we would meet with our reality in freedom and in peace. Our practicing becomes the footsteps lighting up the way for all our brothers who will follow us to the reality we share with them. That this may be accomplished, let us give a quarter of an hour twice today and spend it with the guide who understands the meaning of forgiveness and was sent to us to teach it. Let us ask of him, let me practice forgiveness as it is. Let me practice forgiveness as it is. Then choose one brother as he will direct and catalog his sins, as one by one they cross your mind. Be certain not to dwell on any one of them, but realize that you are using his offenses but to save the world from all ideas of sin. Briefly consider all the evil things you thought of him, and each time ask yourself, would I condemn myself for doing this? Let him be freed from all the thoughts you had of sin in him, and now you are prepared for freedom. If you have been practicing thus far in willingness and honesty, you will begin to sense a lifting up, a lightening of weight across your chest, a deep and certain feeling of relief. The time remaining should be given to experiencing the escape from all the heavy chains you sought to lay upon your brother, but were laid upon yourself. Forgiveness should be practiced through the day, for there will still be many times when you forget its meaning and attack yourself. When this occurs, allow your mind to see through the illusion as you tell yourself, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Would I accuse myself of doing this? I will not lay this chain upon myself. In everything you do, remember this. No one is crucified alone, and yet no one can enter heaven by himself. Oh, wow. That's pretty deep, but it's so true. And that is what the lesson today is basically trying to let us understand what true forgiveness is, and for us to see it for what it really is, to not perceive it in the wrong way. So when we think of forgiveness in the illusion, we're thinking about someone doing something someone doing something wrong to us or wronging us in some way. And then in order to forgive them, we have to forget what they did or be okay with what they did. And are we truly forgiving them? And is that really true forgiveness? And it really isn't, because it's still part of the illusion. And that's what the Course is basically trying to tell us today. True forgiveness is just release. True forgiveness is remembrance of the truth. Forgiving yourself for thinking differently. Forgiving others for thinking differently. Forgiving yourself for thinking others are doing something differently in the illusion. So, bottom line, we have to remember truth. We have to remember who we truly are. We have to remember where we really are and not focus on the illusion. And true forgiveness is forgiving ourselves for thinking we were living in a real world. Forgiving ourselves for believing the illusion is real. When we do that, we find truth. And when we find truth, we remember who we are. And we need to do that for our brothers and sisters as well. Because some of them are just really stuck in their illusion, and they're unwilling to let that go. So what we have to do is see them for who they really are, and not for what story they've made of themselves and the stories that we've made for them as well. Excuse me. We have to forgive ourselves and remember the truth. Remember that we are whole and complete. Remember that we are filled with love. Remember that we are filled with joy. Remember that we're always in a state of happiness and with love always surrounding us and encompassing every aspect of our body and in our being. And no guilt. And that's where the key is. Because we walk around with a lot of guilt for the things that we've done. And for the things that other people have done for us, we hold that that unwillingness to forgive. So what we have to do is remember that when we are holding that, we are also holding that for ourselves. We are holding ourselves prisoner in that unforgiveness. So first and foremost, you got to remember who you are. And when you remember who you are, then you can remember who others are as well. And in doing that, you release them from the things that they have done to you, or that you believe they did to you in the illusion. And like the Course says today, for us to say, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. And then when you're thinking of that other person that may have, you feel had done something wrong to you in the illusion, you would say, would I accuse myself of doing this? I will not lay this chain upon myself. So if you would not lay that chain upon yourself, then why would you lay that chain upon your brother or sister? And that's what you have to remember. We all are all trying to be free. Free of this illusion. Free of believing that the experience of a human being is our true experience and what God meant for us. And that is not what God meant for us. God meant for us to be whole, complete, pure, loving, at peace, and always happy. And if you're not doing that, there's something in your life that you will have to work on. And you have to do that work. No one else can do it for you. And no one can help you in it. You have to help yourself. Now, you can help others by seeing them for who they truly are and allowing them to be who they truly are. And in doing that, you allow yourself. So practice that. So today's lesson is asking us to do, they put it as 2/4 of an hour, which basically is 15 minutes, 2 15-minute periods to focus on today's idea. Today's idea, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Let me perceive forgiveness as it is. So focus on that for 15 minutes. And it tells us of a little exercise that we can do, which is focus on one individual that we can categorize all their sins according to the illusion, what we think they have done wrong, what we think they've done wrong to us, or what they've done wrong as a whole. And then ask yourself, would I condemn myself for doing this? And when you realize that you would not condemn yourself for doing the things that you thought that other person did, then you can release them from those chains that you may have placed on them and that they may have placed on themselves. And in doing that, you're practicing forgiveness, true forgiveness, because you're realizing that they never did anything, because they did it in the illusion, which is not real. So how can you do something real in the unreal? Anyways, so that's the lesson for today. I hope you do the effort and try to make time to do it. It's important, and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Please stay close to those you love. Enjoy the life that God has given you, and stay safe. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.